are gonna get crazy up in here. And let's hope nobody flies away or gets too shocked. It's Curtain Call with Erik Ball, if you catch what I'm saying here. All right, 10 points to anybody who can name what play that is on the horizon of opening here that I'm referencing. That's right. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yes.
We have that's like 3 bells in a row, really. It's like, really, it's good. Welcome to the show. This is Erik Ball, and you're listening to Curtain Call. Every Sunday night from 10 to midnight, we give you the latest and greatest of the Las Vegas community theater scene, what's going down in town, and we usually sit down with a couple people who are smacking each other as we talk.
She's terrible.
See, that's the problem, is that they've already had an interview today. They've already been on each other's heels. So, but I have
us every day.
I have Kim Glover and McClenahan in the studio. Folks, pleasure to have you here.
Thanks,
Whole
man.
lot of crazy in this studio now. And of course, we're talking about One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. That's going to be happening over the Onyx Theater this upcoming weekend. It opens under the courageous direction of Sean Critchfield.
Yes.
And Sean, by the way, Sean and Glenn are going to be joining us here shortly. There's a whole lot of empty air in the studio with that much creative ego absent. So I hope you're listening on the way here to the studio, both of you. And let's ring the bell twice, one for each person.
You got it.
It's a gentle touch. She like bludgeoned the bell. She was like, and what role are you playing? I'm sorry.
What was that?
And what role are you playing? Yeah. So let's talk about One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest before
Glenn talks about himself.
Well, I was going. Unprovoked, Glenn. We said 2 words to each other before the interview, and I love your face.
That was good.
But before the director gets in here, and you can say all the crazy things
Whatever
that are
we
going
want.
on. Yeah. No, but seriously, iconic show.
Yes.
Okay, one of those shows that I remember living in Chicago when Gary Sinise did the Steppenwolf Cuckoo's Nest, and it was all the city was talking about, just because it's one of those shows that everybody at least knows and most theater folk love, and ironically, scholars who really actually kind of get into the text and really kind of use it as a storytelling from the literature standpoint as well. Really, it's a relatable show too, very relatable show, and now I would say long overdue for the Las Vegas theater scene. And here we are with wonderful sideburns.
Huge.
That's what I gotta say.
That's the key.
So tell me, what is it like stepping into such iconic shoes?
For me, man, it's honestly a dream come true for me. The One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest has always been one of my favorite plays. I'm a huge Ken Kesey. I mean, he's my idol, so the book has also always had a huge spot in my heart. And obviously, Jack Nicholson won the Oscar playing the role that I'm lucky enough to be playing. But honestly, it's one of those things where it's like, it's a subject that for me personally, I know, or I thought I knew extremely well. You know, I was very familiar with the script, the characters, the Nurse Ratched, the McMurphy, the Billy Bibbit, and all that stuff. And then it really is one of those things, and it's happened to me probably a dozen times now throughout my career of acting, at least. It's just like, once you have it in your hands and it's yours, and it's not the thing that you've read your whole life. Now it's this thing you're creating with 12 other people, or however many of us there are. There's quite a few. It just becomes this whole other beast. And so, with it having the kind of iconic persona that it has, I feel like as a performer, it kind of puts a little added pressure on, what,
I would imagine.
what you're expected to do. Yeah.
It's kind of like, here's the thing. It's kind of like, any iconic role. Like when I was in Beauty and the Beast, if Belle doesn't come out in a yellow dress, there's going to be like a riot.
Right.
There's some sort of, you have to tip your hat a little bit to what brought this classic into the modern day lexicon to begin with.
Exactly, and why it's so popular.
So it's kind of, did you find, now of course you've probably seen the movie with Jack Nicholson, if you've read the beforehand.
Kim has not.
You have
She's
not?
Never seen the film.
Oh, this is interesting then. Let me ask Kim, and then I would love your perspective. Do you find yourself finding that you need to tip your hat to his performance?
It's weird. McMurphy, not so much. Other roles that I've played
Yeah.
that have film cred or anything like that, I'd say absolutely. I find this character not to be so much, and I think that that's one of the reasons that McMurphy is so iconic. Is and that's why Jack Nicholson was perfect for the part.
Sure.
He's just got this amazing energy. He's like this well of untapped potential, and he's this enigmatic kind of fiery spirit, and so I find myself getting more wrapped and taken away with the character of McMurphy, and I can see when I watch the movie, which I haven't really done a lot since we started working on the production, but when I do it, there's choices that you see where it's like, there's no other way to do that. I mean, that's McMurphy.
Like a
It's
carnal,
like exactly.
whatever.
There's this fire to it, and as long as that fire's there, I feel like you're kind of doing the character justice. So
that's kind of cool. Now you said that you haven't seen the movie, Kim. So
No.
So Nurse Rat. By the way, Kim plays Nurse Ratched. I would argue equally iconic. You talk. I remember very vividly opening a theater journal that I get, and reading about this one article that was very funny about how one should play a villain. What would be perceived as a villain, and then they took like 4 iconic villains, or what would be perceived as though they had Sweeney Todd, they had Captain Hook, they had, what was the other one? I don't remember the other girl one, but they had, and then Nurse Ratched. And they broke them down, and it was really, really kind of interesting to look at it as one of the top 5 iconic female villains of all time.
I'm playing a villain?
Yeah, and so having not seen the movie, what would you say? I mean, are you finding, because it is an extraordinarily popular story, are you finding yourself kind of feeling needing to tip your hat to that and that kind of perception of what they're going to offer, or how's your approach?
No, just made it my own, I guess.
Yeah? Yeah,
No.
What do you think about the character? Tell me about Nurse Ratched.
Well, I studied it in college a lot. We did a whole literary study of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest for like 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So, and we did arguments back and forth about the particular characters, McMurphy, the Columbine, that kind of thing.
Oh, wow.
My character that I had to defend was Nurse Ratched in college, so.
Oh, wow, so it was like a social issues thing where you kind of like took a side?
Yep, we all had to take a side.
Can I
and
tell
we
you
all
something?
had to
That is
defend
so cool when you do like a jury take a side thing.
Because my professor was really into this book. This was his favorite book. We studied it for a really long time. So
That's so cool.
for me, playing the role is crazy.
Well, it's coming full circle.
Yes, I guess.
I had a Mammoth professor.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Okay. Not that I don't like Mammoth.
No, it was great. It was a
No, I don't
humanities
like.
class.
It's not that I don't like Mammoth.
We did 3 plays in that humanities class, and it was awesome. He did that with every single play, broke it down. Everybody had to argue the character's point of view.
And now we're a week out here. Okay, now what we can talk about the psychology behind the direction of Sean Critchfield, who is listening in the car, by the way. Okay,
You're the best director ever.
He's sharpening a knife.
He like sent me a text going, "Mwahaha."
He owes me $10 now.
Okay, is it every time you drop his name? Okay, there it is. It's a copyright thing. Well, anyways, what have you found to be the biggest challenge? Because I would argue that the text alone is challenge enough to kind of put somebody on the ledge, But what for you personally?
I don't think Brandon and I have had a challenge.
My
in a way.
biggest challenge has
Is
mostly
working with
been
me.
dealing with Kim.
Working with Kim.
That's my challenge, is working with Brandon.
Nice.
Brandon and I have such a great relationship,
Yeah.
and then we also have a great stage relationship as well. So whenever we're together, it's like...
Do you approach your role from the reality of kind of like, are you finding yourself conflicted in the role? Like, are you really? Because here's the thing, we're talking about mundane. If you think about the occupation of Nurse Ratched, talk about a mundane, ritual-based, follow-through, kind of die-hard, false sense of authority, all these things.
My kids would argue that that's who I am. They would probably say
But here's the funny thing about it. How do you get? Because I always think of villain. I think energy. I think power. I feel influence. And then when you cross those two of what Nurse Ratched should be and Nurse Ratched is ultimately, well, I mean, there's got to be.
She's very calm. She's very collected.
So are most serial killers, though.
Exactly.
I see what you
Totally
did there.
gets off on the power. It's,
Yeah, I don't say much. It's all... Oh, yeah, they can't hear me.
If Glenn were here with his video camera, you would.
Yeah.
She waxed poetic with her eyes.
She winked, and during the last comment, what?
Ding, ding, ding.
Well, this is awesome. Listen, if you're just now tuning in, we're speaking with cast members from the upcoming Onyx Theater production of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Now, is this a collaboration between Onyx and...
I believe it's just Ragtag.
Ragtag. Beg your pardon. I want to make sure that I bill this correctly.
I'm not positive on that, but I believe it's just a Ragtag production.
Okay.
Ask our brilliant director when he comes.
We will. And
$15.
He's driving right now like, no!
$15.
But it's at the Onyx Theater, and it's certainly this opening this weekend, and it's for 2 weekends, and you need to get tickets. We got to take a quick break. We'll be right back with Brandon McClenahan and Kim Glover from Kim Glover. Kim Glover. I took a nap right before I came in. Never take a nap before you do a nighttime radio talk show because you end up getting gummy mouth, and I'm drinking a coffee with desperate hope to kind of revive. I'm going to try to slap myself in the face on this commercial. So
I'll help.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Jeez.
Hey, this is Julia Murney, and you are absolutely listening to Curtain Call with Erik Ball. Don't stop listening.
A word from the cast of Hot in Cleveland.
Want to hear a joke?
Yeah, sure.
What's the #1 killer of women?
Well, you're still here, so that rules out crankiness.
And tracksuits. Heart disease.
But that's a joke?
Oh, no, it's an absolute fact, but the American Heart Association says you can save lives by passing it along to 5 women you love.
Aww.
So I'm starting with 3 I tolerate. That's a joke.
Find out more at goredforwomen.org.
At Sweet Tomatoes, we believe that eating fresh, healthy, wholesome food is an important part of leading a well-balanced life. Sweet Tomatoes food is fresh from the farm, to your fork, and made from scratch every single day. Treat yourself and your family to great-tasting recipes, fresh, seasonal vegetables, and tossed salads prepared every 20 minutes. Come dine with us and create a meal tailored to your specific needs. There are 4 Sweet Tomato locations in Las Vegas to serve you. Check out our full menu. Visit www.sweettomatoes.com. Open 7 days a week. See you at Sweet Tomatoes. Create a meal, indulge, and enjoy.
Are you sick and tired of your garage door going up but never coming down, or going down and coming back up on its own? The kids knocking the motion sensors around? Oh, it's a nightmare. Custom Hearth & Door is here to help. They are your one-stop shop for garage doors, garage door openers, and repairs. Great service deals all the time. Also, you can't be Custom Hearth & Door and not do fireplaces, as they provide high-quality wood-burning and gas-fired fireplaces, fireplace inserts and stoves, chimney systems, and accessories. Custom Hearth features the best brand names in the business, including the LiftMaster garage door openers with their new keyless entry with fingerprint verification, plus products from Real Fire, Craftsman, Fire Magic, and Lennox. Call Custom Hearth & Door at 657-1280. That's 657-1280. Or visit them online at custom-hearth.com. That's custom-hearth.com.
A toast to all you caniacs, ever faithful aficionados of fresh, never frozen premium chicken fingers from Raising Cane's. You are keen connoisseurs of Cane's crispy, extra-long crinkle-cut fries, dedicated to the made-fresh daily cane sauce that twirls tongues in a tastefully tangy tango. Caniacs, we toast you all from Raising Cane's.
5 Las Vegas locations. Go to ilovecanes.com.
Hello there, this is Roger Rees of New York's Peter and the Starcatcher, sending you back to Erik Ball here in Las Vegas.
Welcome back. These two are, I just want to sit back and watch Kim and Brendan just kind of interact. It's like a show right now. I can't imagine what it's going to be like when they present
It's a little crazy.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest over at the Onyx Theater this weekend. You got to check it out. Okay, now before Sean gets here, I need to ask you something because it's under the impeccable direction of Sean Critchfield. Now I've seen Sean's work and I know how Sean works, but before he gets here, what do you guys think of the concept? because obviously he's a man of vision. So he goes into a project not necessarily wanting to redefine, but definitely wanting to represent the text well. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like he has his own world that he kind of enters the text into. What has it been like being in Sean Critchfield's world?
Brandon?
Kim? I love it. I've worked with Sean a few times as a director. Sean, just to get this out of the way, if it was not for Sean Critchfield, I would not be doing this. He came into my high school at a young age and kind of guided me toward this whole process. And so to get back with him now, especially in such a big role for me personally, it's a gift, man. It's a big treat. And he's he's the kind of person who he has a very firm grasp of what it is that he wants. But he is, and I think this is a great benefit of him, is also he comes in with his big statement is, basically there's the show I want to create, there's the show you guys want to create, and then we're going to meet in the middle and find the show that we need to create
He always
together.
says, try it this way.
Mm-hmm.
But if it doesn't work, then go back to what you originally did.
Right. And see, now as far as the concept, can you give us I don't want to give away too much, because here's the thing, if you even remotely know One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, you kind of understand what to expect. What is there that's going to surprise people? What type of concept or design element or?
There's an element of it being all around you. There's the way the show begins. Is not to give anything away on it really, but it's a bit more immersive than.
We're actually going to include the audience a little bit.
Oh wow!
And even in with the way that Ratchet is present on the ward is something that I've never, and being familiar with the show, I've never seen done this way.
Wow.
Yeah, and the way I'm present is different.
So you expose yourself. No, I'm joking.
Only in the end.
It's the curtain call.
Brandon pointed to his head.
Well, now who else is in the show? Who else? What are? I mean, just there. I know it's a nice all-star-studded cast.
Yes, it is. Brian Scott plays Harding. All this as they come in.
As they come in first, okay.
Elijah O'Connell plays Billy. Bibbit.
Oh wow, great.
Mm-hmm. Troy Tinker plays Scanlon, who's hilarious. He's really
and who
funny.
was on Operation Repo lately.
Yes, he was.
And that was hilarious.
I'm also an alumni of that show.
Are you?
We were both at weddings too, is what's funny. But yeah.
That's kind of funny.
And then
Michael Drake
is
the Cheswick.
Yes, who I can't get rid of either.
There's been a lot of Michael Drake, which is a great thing. I'm one of his biggest fans. He's fantastic.
And then Alex Mendoza is playing Martini.
Awesome.
And he is hilarious.
He is fantastic. Yeah, he's
very funny. And then Michael Kim's playing Roughly.
John Ivanov.
Plays the doctor, and
is a steal of a performance.
Wow.
Yeah.
John Ivanov is brilliant. I've never seen.
It's really hard not to laugh at all of those people on stage. That's my main thing. I can't laugh.
All right, let's talk about me now.
Nice.
You heard that? Yay!
Beat Kim.
That's beating Kim. That's Glenn.
Mr. Glenn is in the house.
Oh crap! Darn it.
Why do you always enter the room when we're talking about something that's crazy? I was like, he walks in when we're talking about the.
You know what? I'm usually in the room.
I'm so glad you heard that.
Ahead of time, but.
Now you just came from rehearsal of Urinetown, right?
10 of 12. Yeah, we had a Q to Q from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. today. So.
Wow. Woo.
That's a smell.
Now, did they let you go to the bathroom at all?
Yes. Well, you know what? The show is running on equity rules, so regular breaks. We had a 2-hour break.
But did they tax you to take a pee?
No, not yet.
Oh, that's good.
No immersive realism then.
Well, no, there is some of that, but I've held it all day.
We're going to supply each player with a catheter. We'll help you use
commercial break.
Well, you guys were going through the cast list, and I heard as far as Michael Drake, and then I turned the car off, came in here, and smacked Kim. So,
it's good to have you, by the way.
I didn't deserve it.
You know what? The very first thing out of your mouth was, well, we better start talking about the show before Glenn gets here, and he'll start talking about himself the whole time.
That's what we like about the show, though.
Erik didn't even prompt me either.
I know he didn't prompt you. I've known you long enough, Kim.
It was so funny.
Funny. Well, now let me ask you, Glenn. Fresh perspective here. What has been your exposure to One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest? Has it been mostly just the movie?
It is only the movie. All I know of it is the movie. I actually didn't know it was a play until I heard of the auditions and.
Would you say, Brendan, that this is kind of like one of the top, like, crazy people that you could play? Because
Yeah, in a way,
Is he crazy?
Well, that's the question I was just going to ask, because I can see Brandon not playing it.
And
crazy.
So, yeah, because I guess I have my own firm beliefs as to what is crazy. I think he's psychopathic.
Speaking of crazy,
yes.
I'm sorry. Speaking of crazy,
and Sean,
here's Sean.
So I turned the radio off to walk in just as Glenn was giving his perspective, so I know I didn't miss anything.
Oh wow!
Talk about himself yet.
Wow. Here, you want something heavy to throw?
Nope, I'm just going to sit in the corner and go to sleep.
Glenn, it's good to see you, man. I'm always happy to see you.
The incomparable Glenn Heath and Sean Critchfield. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go.
Now it's
You want
on.
to get close to me?
Enjoy the smell of Urinetown from my
They
feet.
just turned off the air, too. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
I don't know.
Do we have another set? We
Let
should
me
have
have
another
one.
one. Should have another set somewhere.
Of headphones?
Yeah, should.
I would be remiss if I didn't also mention that Tim Burris is playing Chief Bromden.
And Tim
in his
Burris is
production.
amazing.
Oh, wow.
He's fantastic.
Kehan Lawrence.
I was about to say
Lawrence.
that when I got cut
And then
off
the
by
girls.
Kim.
Here, share back and forth.
There's girls.
Yeah, Kehan
Besides
Lawrence
me.
are my orderlies, and then there's Sandy and
Morgan.
and Sandra and Kenny, which are Morgan and Tressa
Tressa
Byrne.
Byrne.
It's a very large cast. I even saw that there was still a question mark on one of the...
Yeah. There's the question mark is Harvey, who is Martini's imaginary friend.
Oh, I thought you were going to... It's Godot, and we're just going to screw everyone.
We're waiting for Harvey.
No, that's awesome.
I'm taking the credit on that one. I'm just going to add that.
Well, listen, I was talking to them about concept, and they were explaining how they really have embraced and really enjoyed this concept that you have given them with regards to the show. What has been your kind of like tip of your hat per se? Because I asked him straight up, and you heard in the car, that an iconic role such as this, you almost feel like you need to tip your hat a little bit because it's going to be what half the audience coming to see the show is expecting. So it's kind of like, what do you do in that case? Because it's great because it's an iconic role. It's like, it's like playing Hamlet or something. But what do you do? What do you do with that? How do you do that? And how do you do it respectfully and still call it your own? So as far as the show being an iconic show, how did you approach this without, doing a carbon copy?
Sure. Well, first of all, I want to say that it's interesting to be a guest on this show.
Yes, in this case.
And yet you come in and insult one of the hosts.
Very first thing.
That was the other guy.
No, he did it too. He said, "Oh yeah, Glenn was talking and turned off the car and came in. I knew I didn't miss anything. I less than 3 you too.
I less than 3 you.
Okay. But I will say that these that first of all, you've seen these two in the studio. So, I mean, that's just a no-brainer. You just turn them loose, and that's half
It's true.
the fun.
There's a carnal energy right here. I don't know why.
So that's half the fun. To be honest with you, I think my answer may surprise you, and I'm hoping that you guys will agree with this and that we're not going to lose some of the audience that is hoping to attend by saying this. We do not nod at all.
Oh, wow, great.
Yeah, not at all. There is no Jack Nicholson. Like, this is... our Martini is very different. All of the characters, because if you remember the movie, there's Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah,
There's Danny DeVito. I mean, it is just a who's who in that lineup, and one of the big things for me, and we talked about it on the show and other capacities, is that I don't do any of that kind of research. And of course, I've seen the movie, but I made sure that I did not come back and revisit it.
Can I ask you why? Just for somebody maybe who doesn't know you.
Yeah.
Why would that be something that would, as creatively an artist, would turn you off? Why would that be something you wouldn't want to do?
Well, first of all, I don't think that there's a right or wrong, and I'm not telling that if another director does a ton of research, everyone has their own way. So I'm not saying that any other process is wrong, but this is my creative process. This is what I found that works for me, and it's this is our opportunity to do this. This is her chance to play Nurse Ratched. This is his chance to play McMurphy. This is my chance to create this universe, to create this world that they live in, and so my attitude is always, what am I going to bring to it?
Right.
And I find that when I do research, and Brandon said something in one of our discussions, which I thought he said that I think that it would be folly for any actor to not visit, because it's so iconic, to visit it in some way, And
well, it became
course,
iconic somehow.
Yeah, and of course I've seen the movie, so that's going to be there.
Sure.
But then beyond that, I just really stepped away from the movie, and I'm like, I'm not going to do any more research. The text is there. Everything we need
text is the Bible,
in
right.
the text, Everything we need is right there. And so let's create it as if it were an original work, and this is the first time we're ever doing it. And if it winds up aligning itself with something that someone else has done, that's great. I'm not going to change it just, you know, someone else did that, well, now I can't do it anymore, you know? And I'm not going to go the opposite direction with that, and I'm not going to copy someone either. So
you need to tell the story. You need to tell the story about the gentleman that you did driving Miss Daisy with, and there was.
Oh yeah.
Tell that story again. It's
Brandon
because
could probably tell that story.
Well, I was just going to say that's a brilliant example of it. Somebody who's done the show again and again and again and again.
His name is Ernest Perry, and if you guys have ever seen, there was the Big Red commercials that aired for a long time, and there was a black gentleman who is usually an usher. Kaj, my stage manager, and our man on the street just walked in and brought me a water.
Ladies and gentlemen, gentleman if there ever was one, and he looks exhausted.
He relieved me when I left at 11. I'd been there since early. When I left at 11, some others relieved me, and he pulled the night shift on building our set. So,
wow.
Yeah,
you're a good man, Charlie Brown.
David Sanker has been incredibly busy, and so we're doing a fast build on it. But he's a genius. David Sanker's doing our sets, and if you've seen one of his sets, and you know, he is a mad genius.
I'm right there with you, brother. I did nothing but paint with pink today, so.
I am so sorry.
Mentally and physically.
How is she doing?
Ernest Perry, if you have ever seen the Big Red commercials, there was an usher, was a black gentleman, and he had a silver tray with the Big Red on it, and he would always say to the girl, she'd try the gum, and he'd go, "Looks good on you."
Yeah, that's right.
That's Ernest Perry.
Okay.
And Ernest was made to play Hogue. And there's another lady, Pat Frazier, who is no longer with us and was one of my favorite actors of all time. The woman never did anything that was less than genius in my eyes. Worked years at Utah Shakespearean Festival. And she was made for Daisy. I believe Ernest told me that he had played the part 7 times before. And I know Pat had played it 9 times before. So they walked into this thing
having already,
Yeah, and I was doing a pre-show that took place before it for them that year, and he was such a generous man. He would come out every night and he would watch us as part of his warm-up, and he would sit and laugh and have a good time, and just a generous audience member. And one of the times as I was walking in to get ready, he was getting his seat, and he had his script open, and we'd been open weeks at this point. And he had his script open, and he was studying his script. And I looked at him, and jokingly I said, "Ernest, don't you know your lines by now?" And he held his script up, and he said, "Sean, baby, there's gold in here." And it's something that I've never forgotten. It's something I try to pass on to my students and my actors, that I have a copy of the script of Tournament of Kings in my dressing room, and I revisit it
every single time.
And it's a great show, but let's face it, the text isn't Hamlet, but it's still worth getting in there and
everything
exploring.
Because all the answers are in the text.
And that's the answer to your question, is that if the text itself is a nod to the film, there's no way you're going to get away from it.
Right.
And a lot of the choices that Nicholson made, I think Brandon is making as well, but they're making them because they're right. They're right for the character, and they're the right choice to make. And I don't think it has anything to do with him nodding to Jack Nicholson. I think, honestly, the other thing is that in our discussions, I know that he is a huge Ken Kesey fan, and he's had the luxury of he's approaching it from Ken Kesey. He's not approaching it from Nicholson. So the fact that his character starts someplace different than Nicholson allows him to just kind of bystep it. If you agree with that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's something that you were mentioning about earlier, about like the idea of.
Well, no, and I don't mean to interrupt, Brandon. Because once Sean stops talking, I can get a word in.
There it is. There's the comeback. We're playing ping pong, folks.
No, having worked with you, Sean, I know exactly that approach of allowing the actors to discover things, and so I want to follow up with what have you found something new? Because obviously you've done research as a director. You have to, and obviously elements of the movie will creep in because most actors will do those sort of things. So what unique has come out of this that wow, I'd never seen that before, or never even thought of that. Obviously, bringing Kim into a production,
right?
That right there is like, well, that never should have happened.
That's courageous
But
of you.
middle finger, thank you, Kim.
You're welcome, Glenn.
It's only because you don't have the camera on.
I know.
Did you notice that?
I would really love to hear their answers about what they have come to that's new out of the process as well, if you guys don't mind.
The teacher
I
would
can
like
tell
to have a pop quiz, kids.
Yeah, but no, just because it's a great question, and I think that they can definitely give insight as well. Because to be honest with you, most of the new discovery comes from my actors. I just approached it from the place of. What's that?
Most of the new discoveries come from my actors. And I thought you were going to say my ass.
Okay.
I'm sorry. For a second there, I thought you were going to say...
Well, that's usually where I'm pulling my ideas out
Eric,
of
I
anyway.
heard nude discovery, so,
Well, that's where I'm pulling my ideas out of anyway.
I swear, for a brief second, I thought that's what you were...
Most of my nude discovery comes from my actors. It's
But no,
well, of course
like-
it does.
like,
Where else would your nude discovery come from?
There's so much fun stuff that's going on, and my actors teach me all the time. And so, I'm not going to step on their toes because I'm sure that I'm going to agree with whatever they say. But Michael Kim, in particular, there was a moment when we asked him, why does Ruckley stand with his hands like he's on a cross? What is that coming from? Is there a Messiah complex? Like, what is the deal with him? What's going on in his twisted little mind? And he said, I'm not sure. Let me keep exploring. And then he came back to us and he was like, I know why. And they said, why? And they said, he's not. He's holding his hands out like he's on a shock gurney. And when Ratchet comes in and talks to him, his arms go up out of panic of being on the shock gurney. It's this reflex that happens in his body. And instead of pulling the nails out, they are pulling the nails out, but in his mind, they're unbuckling the cuffs. And so, yeah,
wow.
I don't know that anyone has approached it like that, and that's really great. And there's tons of that going on. There's tons of
and you've also got a great ensemble of performers that have had the luxury of working with each other before. This is like the third show in almost as many months for the for Kim and Brandon.
And Michael Drake.
Yeah, and Mike. Well, and again, with Tim and Troy and. All of you guys have worked with each other, so there is already some, if I'm on stage with Brandon, I know things that I'm going to get from him. And so some of the discovery is like, I'm waiting to see some of this. So has it been easy, Brandon, dealing with, these friends and actors of yours, in finding those discoveries, because it's almost as if that there's this pocket of gold there,
right?
To use
well,
Sean's
what
term.
you're drawing. It's like fishing in a pond you're very familiar with.
Yeah, and throwing dynamite in it, and all the fish come right up to the
all
top.
The talent.
And that's a double-edged sword, because there's also those pitfalls of, I've worked with this guy, I know what he's going to do.
Thing.
Yeah. And so that's what I'm curious to know. Has some of that been easy or difficult because of those already interpersonal connections?
You do it.
Go ahead. You were just saying.
Oh, rock, paper, scissors, and get on with it.
No, I'll just hit him and they can do it.
Okay.
Didn't we just talk about this, though?
Yeah, so tell them what we were talking about.
Guys, come on.
You talk about it. It was your discussion.
Should we just? When did you talk about this?
After LVL, after we did the first radio interview today. Yeah.
Well, no,
Well, he was talking about how, because we know each other so well, that we know where we can draw from. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, I know exactly what I'm gonna get from Brandon, and he knows.
But do you go there knowing what you're gonna get, or do you try something different to get something different? Because I
think we've explored.
Yeah, I think,
for sure.
Especially with this, it's weird because this kind of works on both questions you guys were talking about. Like, with McMurphy, for me, there was this, hero worship coming in. You know what I mean? To me, McMurphy's almost the perfect character. I feel like Ken Kesey wrote himself as a character, and to me, Ken Kesey's this, iconic god in my eyes, And so, in playing that kind of character, it's weird, because you come in and you're like, well, this character already knows everything. And that's one of the things I liked about McMurphy in the movie and everything like that, is it's like, well, this dude knows what's going on, and everybody else just needs to learn. And then coming into it as, an actor and a character, you meet, especially working with people that you have met before, you start finding, how human this character really is and what his needs are, and that he actually needs these people just as much to feed him back. And I feel like because I've worked with them so much more, I'm more open to that. Drake at sometimes will hit me with a character choice or something that, metaphorically drops me to my knees. It's like a punch in the stomach. It's and it's, I guess, because we've gotten to work with each other more. I'd like to believe that we would find them anyway.
Sure.
But I feel like
but it may be easier, and you get there quicker.
Exactly. You just kind of naturally sync up on things. Like Kim and I mean, if we make a different choice, we can jump into it and kind of do it without a net because I've never been let down by Kim before. You know what I mean? And
I would hope too, and I'm asking. I'm now stepping over to host side. I would hope too that this is the case, and if it's not, by all means. But part of the process that we've intentionally built as a cast is one of the big joys for me as a director is we warm up together every day, and there's this laughter, and everyone comes in and they love to be with each other, and they love to it's a party. And the entire process is that way. It's very full of laughter, and our show is very funny and very full of laughter. And
because there is some really funny moments in the show.
The show overall is
if you've
hysterical.
never seen One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, don't get bogged down by the fact that it's on some aspects a thriller, on some aspects it's very tragic, and in other elements it's almost a high comedy in some ways.
It really is.
So
I think that it's the greatest percentage of it is comedy, and we.
So
found
drives the
most of
point,
that.
man. It's what really elevates that stake.
And I think that we have a lot of actors that have not worked consistently with each other, and those people feel just as safe taking risks and making choices. And that's really exciting for me, is that they're constantly shifting and changing. And I hope you guys, I don't know if you guys agree with that or not, but I think that that's part of what we built in, is that the circumstances can always change, and everyone's going to be right there.
So would and any one of you, would you consider this a fluid show in the sense that, and I'm just trying to conceptualize, with the patients in the hospital, are they interchangeable?
No. I would say no.
Okay.
Are their gowns
No way.
interchangeable?
Yeah.
No, I'm joking.
Okay, so and I asked because it's been a while since I've seen the movie and not have read the play, but are these the characters? Are they all? And again, I'm conceptualizing. Are they all elements of one psyche kind of concept, where each of the patients is just one aspect of one, like the patients are a character?
Yeah, I would say
in that sense.
I'd say definitely. I think if anything, in the aspect of one psyche, it's. I mean, they are, all of them are. They're all caught in a human condition. They're all caught in that thing. And what I think Kesey wrote the play for is that the craziest among us is actually the most like us. That we are all these people. It's just somebody telling them, you have a problem, or in the case of like Martini, he actually has multiple personalities and stuff like that. But for the most part, especially in the ward that we've created, it's not this bunch of screaming,
Crazy
foaming at the mouth
people.
lunatics or anything. It's people that you sit with on the bus, and it's people that you see talk to
You can find
themselves.
truth in them.
They're just
exactly.
real.
Huh.
And it's in me, it's the thing that's scary about the show. That's the scariest part,
Yeah.
is that it's like that's when Glenn mentioned earlier that me personally with McMurphy, it wouldn't shock me. Like, I feel like I'm 2 steps away from somebody being like, that guy's crazy, they should actually put him away, and it's like, to me, it's like, no, I'm not insane. These are the things that are important to me, and each one of these people has their own set of what's important to them, what they need, what they don't feel they're getting, and they all together kind of build a big healthy group. But
I remember when
actually closing night we're having Brandon committed, so you might want to see closing night.
that'll be fun. That's a selling point.
yes, I will fight.
That's just publicity. Now, but here's the
He's
thing.
going to be committed with the missing dog.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Touche.
You just touch it. You just
She
ring
bludgeons the bell when she hits it.
I want to
It's ringing,
backtrack
not
just a
striking
second and
it.
say
Are
that-
you like a kindergarten teacher to where you have bells in your room,
I have one.
She has like a clicker from
and it probably
PetSmart.
doesn't work because you've beat it to
Yeah,
death?
she looks like a kindergarten student right now. She's like, I want my cake.
Is it snack time?
Make it work.
I'm telling you, come see this, guys. This is
No,
and
seriously,
this has
you
been
don't
my
understand.
process.
The energy in the studio, you gotta come see the show. It's gonna be fantastic.
I do want to say that there's a thing that I wanted to that I want to backtrack just a little bit and mention.
Sure.
And then I'm gonna shut up and let you guys ask them questions, because
I
I'm excited to hear what they have to say as well as you guys are.
You just
But,
want to hear him say how wonderful.
I would
No, I
remind
don't
me.
care
I want
about that at all.
Go on.
But what I was gonna say is that Tim Burris is playing our Chief Bromden, and he does an incredible job. And I think that people will be surprised by the performances. I would like to say that this is not typical of Brandon McClenahan. Like, there's a certain thing, there's an iconic presence to people that you're like, okay, you say he's going to be playing this role. Okay, I would love to see that because I can get an idea of what that's going to be. And it's not. It's just this new thing, and it's really fresh. And I feel like he's really risking and going from a new place with it, which is exciting for me to watch. But one of the things that they found that is brilliant is McMurphy is therapeutic to the patients. And if you watch, he is ministering to them as the play wears on. And there's moments where he'll talk to someone that clearly no one else has bothered to talk to in years, and he'll include them. And that idea transfers to the patients. And that's one thing that I think we found that's unique, is there's this almost psychic connection between he and Bromden, where even before Bromden ever, reveals anything in any way, I don't want to spoil anything, but there's this communication that's happening between them even before that, where he just gets him. And I think that that's something that they discovered that is brand new to the show.
McMurphy, psychic friends. Yeah. And here's what I was going to ask you. I remember a director telling me once when he was directing. I was struggling to figure out what play it was, because it was a long time ago. It's like 15 years ago. But he said something to one of my classmates who was in the show, who was playing an insane, committed person. And he was saying, you have to understand that insanity is a reality. It may not be a true reality. It may not be the one that the audience is watching. It may not be, but it's a very, very real alternative reality. He said, take, for instance, the true test of fame. You're famous if someone insane pretends he is you. You know what I mean? And I thought, that's genius. Because if you think about it, it's not true. That person is not you, but in their reality, so it's an alternative reality. So it's almost like it's absolutely no different than trying to find truth in a character on stage, period. Mm-hmm. And so has this been kind of like double dipping for you? Has this been kind of like taking your ice cream cone and sprinkles then chocolate?
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, because it's got to be tough. It's got to be 2 layers.
Because that's the thing, and every actor's going to have their method on how they deal with an insane character or whatever. But anytime I've played, I just played a semi-insane one with Glenn in Love Song, with that had mental condition. And to me, you have to identify like those conditions. It's called a condition for a reason. It's affecting something, but that thing is always there no matter what, whether he's crazy or not. And so it's creating the human being and then creating whatever that illness is, or whatever that thing is. And with McMurphy,
affliction,
exactly.
It afflicts
it's like, what is that thing? Like, what is it with him? And I've defined it for myself, and don't want to give that away too much. But
is that something Sean encouraged, or is that something you came up with?
What's really fun is that I still do not know and don't want to know whether or not he's decided if he's insane. I told him that I wanted him to make up his mind, and I wanted him to play it full out, and I know what I think. I know what I think Brandon chose, but as a director, I have never discussed. I don't need to. The work is still serving the text. Everything is right, so I don't need to know the answer to that. And I think it gives him a gift to have that.
That's really cool. When I was in Crazy Few, Eugene Fodor was a serial killer, and I didn't tell anyone. So.
But we kept finding bodies. Kim, you recently played the beggar woman in Sweeney Todd, and you really immersed yourself into the character. And knowing you, I know how difficult that was for you at times. But you had the luxury of being able to pull all the hair in front of you and hide yourself. And in this role, I don't want to.
Almost the opposite. You can't hide from anything. No. It's sterile almost.
Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering. Is there an aspect of, is there a mental aspect for her as well? I know the answer to that, but I'm curious, how your take on it is.
I don't know. I think she cares for the patients. I don't know if she's very controlling. She thinks that this is the way it's supposed to be in order to get them cured.
Okay. But is that a sane... Yeah, and that's... Okay.
Who knows?
Murphy would say no. I think she's the sickest woman in the hospital.
I could be.
Well, that's for the audience.
Heads are nodding up and down, yeah. So.
We're kind of going...
It's really weird, though, to play a villain.
Yes, she laughs. It's creepy. She goes, "It's weird to play a villain."
I think they're fun to play.
It laughs in the background.
Yeah, her daughter's in the other room laughing.
Sure, she does.
Of course.
She's like, she's not like that at home.
And she's like, this woman's not my mother. Get me out of here, please.
Well, if you're tuning in, you're listening to the laughter of Kim Glover and Brendan McClenahan, who is starring in the upcoming ragtag production at the Onyx Theater of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, directed by Sean Critchfield. It is a tour de force of insanity, if you will. What everybody seems to know and believe and love about One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and the iconic story that it is, I will kind of offer something else. I will say that you will never ever see a story told like Sean Critchfield and these two very talented players in the studio will offer it. And so let's take a quick break. We gotta throw another commercial in here for this hour, and then we'll be right back. We'll talk more Cuckoo's Nest.
This is Sarah Salzberg from Spelling Bee, and you're listening to Curtain Call with Erik Ball.
Sick and tired of your garage door going up but never coming down, or going down and coming back up on its own, the kids knocking the motion sensors around? Oh, it's a nightmare. Custom Hearth & Door is here to help. They are your one-stop shop for garage doors, garage door openers, and repairs. Great service deals all the time. Also, you can't be Custom Hearth & Door and not do fireplaces, as they provide high-quality wood-burning and gas-fired fireplaces, fireplace inserts and stoves, chimney systems, and accessories. Custom Hearth features the best brand names in the business, including the LiftMaster garage door openers with their new keyless entry with fingerprint verification, plus products from Real Fire, Craftsman, Fire Magic, and Lennox. Call Custom Hearth & Door at 657-1280. That's 657-1280. Or visit them online at custom-hearth.com. That's custom-hearth.com.
With the home foreclosure crisis upon us, vacant properties and deserted houses are changing the landscape of our neighborhoods. These deserted houses attract vandals, thieves, and con artists. In times like these, keeping your neighborhood safe is more important than ever. When foreclosures rise, so can crime. Uncut lawns, trash, and empty driveways are open invitations for crime. Empty homes make perfect locations for drug dealers. Squatters find vacant houses, move in, and take over. Teenagers use abandoned homes for parties and to vandalize. To combat these new threats, urge your community association to work with local police to patrol vacant homes. Contact your city, county, or housing authority to cut overgrown lawns and pick up trash. Report broken windows and doors to the police and educate your child that it is not okay to go into an abandoned house. To learn more about protecting your neighborhood, visit ncpc.org or contact your local law enforcement agency.
A message from the U.S. Department of Justice, National Crime Prevention Council, and the Ad Council.
A toast to all you caniacs. Ever faithful aficionados of fresh, never frozen premium chicken fingers from Raising Cane's. You are keen connoisseurs of Cane's crispy, extra-long crinkle-cut fries, dedicated to the made-fresh daily cane sauce that twirls tongues in a tastefully tangy tango. Caniacs, we toast you all from Raising Cane's.
5 Las Vegas locations. Go to ilovecanes.com.
This is Matthew Scott, and you're listening to Curtain Call with Erik Ball.
That's right. It's Matthew Scott giving our little tag there.
You're going to need to go back to New York.
Scott. I'm going in July.
Well, you're going to need to get some more bumpers.
Some more. Yeah, we're going to have to see what we can do about that. They're like, Erik who? And Curtain what? All right, hurry up. I got to go.
Erik Call with Erik.
I just meet him on the street. And I'm just
You're listening to Erik's Ball on Curtain.
You're listening to calls of what? Hey, listen, if you are sitting by a computer right now, or if you have a computer and fingers, please.
If you don't, we're terribly
sorry. You don't.
Wait, we got a call coming in. I don't know how they dialed. They didn't have fingers.
Elbows. Speakerphone. But please go to our Facebook page, Curtain Call with Erik Ball, and like our Facebook page. We love to be liked. And we also have a YouTube station. And you can subscribe to our YouTube videos. Today we're not videoing because Glenn came straight from his tech rehearsal for Urinetown over at UNLV, and he's usually our tech guru. Which, by the way, thank you very much. He always goes above and beyond.
And I'll do the audio.
Yeah, and we do audio, and we'll take some pictures, and we'll put some pictures up and stuff. But do a little slideshow. It'll be cute. But
In a 48-hour film video that I just and a 48-hour film thing that I did for the 48-hour film festival, Kim Glover actually cameoed in it, and she was the stripper legs in the production, and stripper heels, and it was really.
Can we get some of that to make it in the slideshow
and
for
that's
the?
what I was going to say is that I will text you the picture so that.
No, that'll be great. Then we can put it in the slideshow.
It is so funny, and Kim is playing the muse of erotica for Xanadu. I was like,
that's her daughter again laughing.
I was like, if anyone knows Kim, they're just like, what? That's so ironic.
Well, there you go.
Well, she's not versatile at all.
No.
A villain too. Come on.
Well, now let's mention Urinetown. Let's talk about that for a minute because that's opening this Friday as well.
Yeah,
that's over.
So actors in the shows One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Legally Blonde over at Faith Lutheran, and Urinetown at UNLV. We can't see anyone else's shows.
It's really kind of sad because we're all opening at the same time. But plug your show. Tell us when it is. It's Tim Bennett directing.
Tim Bennett is directing.
By the way, Tim Bennett's talk about a class act. Talk about a class act.
He directed, choreographed, and Chris Lash music direction. Andrea Abruskin, assistant director, choreographer. It's Nevada Conservatory Theater, so it's primarily the graduate students of UNLV. Awesome. And Urinetown itself, I think, won a couple of Tonys, Best Book, Best Original.
It's one of those. Can I just say it's kind of brought back kind of the fringy comedy musical.
Yeah,
it really did. It was a precursor to Spelling Bee, precursor to like all those kind of fringy avant-garde conceptual blah blah.
And there's a lot of elements in the show itself that are played in and out.
Right.
I find it very melodramatic. And
there's a lot of Sweeney Todd in there.
And just the whole snidely whiplash, oh, you must pay the rent, I can't pay the rent, that whole and it's played up a little bit, but I've only been in the production about 2 weeks. I stepped in to cover a role that somebody had to drop out, so
you're playing Hope.
Yes, I'm playing Hope Cladwell. And the names, obviously, the Mr. Caldwell B. Cladwell, and Hope, and Bobby Strong, and Officer Lockstock and Barrel, and I'm playing Officer Barrel. So it's a fun show. I mean, I like the show itself.
And I think it makes no bones about putting its tongue firmly in its cheek at every turn. And that's kind of what's fun about it, because when you know that there's a joke or a punchline delivered a certain way before they even tell the joke, it's kind of fun.
Well, and it's one of those musicals where there's a lot of play on other musicals. There's certain songs that are just like, oh, that's Fosse, or oh, that's Sondheim. So there is that play in the show as well, and obviously it's an allegory for preserving nature and taking care of Mother Earth and all that. That's the subtext, yes. Yeah.
The Water Authority.
Yes. Well, basically, people have destroyed the environment by wasting water, and so now. Now that there's no water, you can't have private toilets because you're flushing water and you're wasting it. So
there was a university.
That's the central conceit of the show.
There was a University of Michigan. There's a University of Michigan that did the show, and they put these little cakes. I don't even know what they were. These cakes in the tanks of their toilets in the restrooms that made the water look yellow, even after they flushed it. So like all their water in their restrooms were yellow. It was really. There was other things they did.
We're just charging admission to the bathroom.
Yeah, but I just thought it was kind of funny. But it's one of those things that it's a joke in itself, and so anytime you go into it, it's still got some roots though. It's not all fluff. It's really kind of
there's some
and it's clever and it's smart.
It's very clever, and there's a lot of word play. And a lot of tongue-in-cheek. There's a lot of breaking the fourth wall as well, because the narration that precedes and goes through the entire show alludes to the fact that, hey, these are a bunch of actors. They know that they're actors, but they're portraying characters, so play along with us. So there's a lot of that.
Quiz time. Okay, true or false? The musical was originally called Pissville.
True.
No, it's false. I just made it up.
I just believed you.
I just don't know why I made it up, but I just thought I'd. Anyways,
I think it was the life of P.
Life.
Oh, okay. I can come up with another one. So Legally Blonde.
Wait, no. That's a different show.
I just want.
How do you segue from urine to Legally Blonde? I don't.
No.
Your students are listening, and I want to know how your mind goes from trying to think of a clever alternate name for Urinetown, and you're like, Legally Blonde.
So I do want to plug my own show.
Of course you do.
It's this upcoming weekend. It's this weekend and next weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at Faith Lutheran High School. And Legally Blonde is one of those shows, I would argue, has kind of it's another situation like we're talking about. There's kind of a name to the story and the character and the journey before you even open the curtain up. So it's very interesting how these students have really taken to this story, because when we announced that we were doing the show at the very beginning, I would argue that the excitement of the fact that we have the rights to do the show was on the onset. And then we kind of realized, oh, we're doing the show. And then when they actually got into the story, then they started really liking the story. Because here's the thing, I would argue that Legally Blonde is a rare exception to a movie bettering itself as the translated to the stage. I think it has bettered itself. I think the movie's okay.
The musical has fleshed out characters and has really made the story concise and taken away those stereotypical two-dimensional characters that the movie has.
Absolutely
and actually
correct.
giving them.
I couldn't agree more with that. That's absolutely.
Well, you wrote it out for me to read, so
turn the page, please. There's more.
I gotta say that I definitely had a. I'm glad you brought this up, because when you were talking about Urinetown, Urinetown is about pee, and then pee made me think of pink, and then pink made me think of Legally Blonde. So when I started thinking,
Pink was painting the set with Erik.
That's right. That's right. So when I started, that's the lead there. See how I connected that for you?
P, pink. Legally Blonde.
There you go.
I got it.
So, all right, that's right.
Well, blonde is yellow, P is yellow.
There you
that's
go.
where I went.
It's all a color theme. That's really what it is. No, but I just want to say, and I'm just going to throw this out there because, he has to be at least somewhat humble and can't brag about his own kids. But if you have not seen a Faith Lutheran production, and I mean this with all sincerity, and I will have you know that I am a jerk when it comes to theater. There's very little that I like when I see it. And that's the truth. I'm just being honest.
Even your own shows.
No, that's true. That's true. There's sometimes I'm sitting in my own show like, what is going on right now? Why would they even do no? But seriously, I would honestly say that Faith Lutheran Productions stack up against any regional theater on the West Coast.
I wholeheartedly agree. And it's the kids have a passion that Erik instills in them. They want to tell the story. They put everything they have into the shows. So. I would highly recommend.
You guys are very kind.
Go see Urinetown on Friday. Go see Cuckoo's Nest on Saturday, and then go see Legally Blonde on Sunday.
And the thing is,
in any of those orders, go see Cuckoo's Nest on Friday.
And I will say this, on the heels of PS Productions in collaboration with Super Summer Theater's announcement of the audition dates for Legally Blonde that's going to be presented at the Ranch in August this summer. I will say that our Legally Blonde, Phil Shelburne and I are very close friends, and we have collaborated on our two productions together. And we have set pieces and elements and concepts that we have fleshed out creatively, design-wise and otherwise, together. And we're bringing to our stage, and then we're going to bring to the Ranch in a bigger capacity. There are elements that we're purposely leaving out of this one, and there's elements in his that we're purposely leaving out that are part of mine, that are going to, I would argue, complement one another. So if you're interested in auditioning for Legally Blonde at Super Summer Theater, or if you would just love to see two, I would argue that Phil and I, if we're nothing else, we're two very passionate people. We love to do what we do very much. I won't say anything more than that, but if you want to see two very different versions of the exact same show, this would be a wonderful opportunity to do that. And I can only say that I'm very, 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 very proud of my kids, and they have been working their guts out. All I can say is that some of them will never want to see a jump rope again.
I was just going to ask you if you're doing the jump rope before.
Oh, and it is, you go and you YouTube that Broadway jump rope scene, and you watch it, and then you come and watch ours. Ours is 10 times harder. It is, Chris Harper and Christian Escobar, our wonderful choreographers, they have been working these kids, and they are up for the challenge,
I'm just
boy.
thinking those kids are in good shape
They
right now.
They all have shin splints.
Really good shape.
No, but it's going to be a fun show.
And I just want to give a shout out to Phil, because I know he loves listening to the show. I went and saw Violet last night.
Oh yeah, talk about Violet.
Such a beautiful.
Great story.
It's a great story. It's underappreciated, as many people who know
And
the
early
show.
Janine Tesori work.
Yeah, who wrote the music for Shrek.
Yeah.
And it was fun because the set from Crazy for You found its way
was
into
featured.
It. Yes, which is great. It was a very modular, sparse set with all the piping that was in Crazy for You, restructured and but
kinda cool.
just some wonderful performances. And have to say congratulations again to Jeff Strong, Julian Kreider, and of course Kelly Albright.
Yeah, I heard Kelly knocked it out of the park.
It was amazing.
I cannot tell you, I am so sad that we're in the throes. I'm not sad. I'm thrilled that we're in the throes of Cuckoo's Nest right now. But I am sad that I won't get to see that production because of that.
Yeah.
I've been a huge Violet fan for
years. It closed today, so yeah.
Yeah, it's a huge. I talked to Phil today, and I was just like, dude, I'm not gonna be able to see the show. And he's like, he's so funny because he's kind of an enigma to read, but he says this is one that I would have liked you to see, and he goes, but I do understand, and that spoke to me as if to say, it's such a good story. It's underappreciated. You said it perfectly.
Well, I had to listen to the cast recording 4 times before
story,
it finally just started absorbing into me. It's like I didn't like the music at first.
I saw a production of it in Birmingham, Alabama, and was in love from day one with it. And so it's beautiful, and I've known about it for years and years, and it's one of those obscure musicals that and you wouldn't think that Floyd Collins is as obscure as it is, but that's another one of those that's like that most people have never heard of it. It's just amazing. And Violet is beautiful, and I'm very, very sad. I mean, I'm thrilled that we're moving forward with what we're doing, but I would have liked to have seen
any opportunity to see a Phil Shelburne production or to watch Kelly Albright on stage. Yeah. That's worth the price of admission right there.
She came in, it kind of like the 11th hour is like, okay, casting. And she came in and she just owned.
And can I tell you something? That's kind of the state of theater in Vegas right now. There's so many good shows going on and so many opportunities that we're almost running into we need to cast this role, and as a director creatively, I'm looking for this person. And there's so many things going on. It's like, where do we draw from? And everybody wants to be active, so everyone's staying active. And so it's kind of like this Super Summer Theater lineup. We have Music Man, we have How to Succeed, we have Legally Blonde, and the producers.
Which one do you do?
Which one do you do?
None of them for me at this point. So,
so we got half the season cast, and I hear Legally Blonde and producers is on its way. But okay, well, listen, if you're just now tuning in, this is Curtain Call, and go to Facebook and like Curtain Call with Erik Ball. Also, if you ever want to call in, you can call in 221-SAVE, again, 221-7283, and you can join in on the conversation. I know for a fact that throughout the course of the week on KSHP 1400, during the auction show that they run every week, I know that they're going to be giving away some Legally Blonde tickets to Faith's production. I'm going to try to squeeze out some Onyx Theater tickets for Cuckoo's Nest, and maybe we can get a couple pairs of tickets going.
You can do that?
Yeah.
Well, but with the cast size, I mean, if they each have like 3 comps, that's like a whole week of.
Yeah, we're gonna see if we can get some Cuckoo's Nest tickets up in here as well. So keep listening throughout the course of the week, and we can do something like that.
They're sharing photos over here. They're like looking at photos. Well, that's just wrong.
I want to see. want to see.
That's just so wrong.
We'll include it at the very
Yeah.
end of the YouTube video. You can't.
Oh.
Why are you pausing the
No, this is. You need to send this to Glenn. That's the funniest thing and the wrongest thing I've ever
Well,
seen. And we can't tell you what it is. Let me see.
I actually have one of those.
I bet you do.
Getting a little off topic here. What? Ab hands.
Yeah, it's like a mesh. You know, you just strap the mesh around it and it imprints into your skin so that when you take it off, you have a six-pack.
That's fantastic.
I've got one of
little
those. Yeah, those are fun.
It's like a griddle.
Yeah,
without the heat.
You know what? I am so hungry too. I haven't eaten.
I said griddle. You went to McGriddle.
You know what? I got up late this morning and I had a 10 a.m. call. I had a box of the little tiny packages of cereal.
Oh yeah.
I had a little tiny box of Apple Jacks and I've had that and a Gatorade today. That's all I've eaten.
That stinks.
Yeah.
I had a steak.
And a nap.
And a nap.
You had a steak and a nap.
I just want to say that I have an idea. I think it'd be really fun if we send Kaj out into the parking lot, and we can call him and find out how the state of the Curtain Call with Erik Ball parking lot is right now for Man on the Street.
I think that's a good idea. Or let's send him. I have a better idea. Let's send him to 7-Eleven.
Yeah, send him to go get me a steak.
Let's send him to 7-Eleven, and let's with like some money. And let's have him bring back the weirdest thing he could possibly find.
I love it.
7-Eleven.
I love it.
Okay, bring back the weirdest thing.
How much did you get? I got $20 bill.
Holy!
You have $20. You have $20.
She's making more than we made.
I want to be one of your kids,
call
Kim.
when you're over there.
I could use $20
to us, and then we'll find out what it is when you return to the studio. But when you get over there, call in 221 save so that we can find out how it's going over there.
We got the Man on the Street.
I was thinking, Eric, we should just have a video night where everybody can watch each other's shows.
I love that idea.
Well, I think that's a great idea too. Have you gotten your Crazy for You video yet?
No, this is my official plea. Well, listen, let's take another quick break for this half hour. We'll be right back. We're talking with Kim Glover and Brendan McClenahan from the upcoming ragtag production at the Onyx Theater, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, directed by Sean Critchfield. And of course, here with Glenn Heath, starring in Urinetown, coming up this weekend.
I'm starring in nothing.
Oh,
I'm grateful to be part of a very talented cast.
And we will be right back with more Curtain Call. Hang tight.
This is Maggie Wheeler, Janice from TV's Friends, and oh my God, you're listening to Curtain Call with Erik Ball.
A word from the cast of Hot in Cleveland.
Want to hear a joke?
Yes, sure.
What's the #1 killer of women?
Well, you're still here, so that rules out crankiness.
And tracksuits. Heart disease.
But that's a joke?
Oh, no, it's an absolute fact, but the American Heart Association says you can save lives by passing it along to 5 women you love. Aww. So I'm starting with 3 I tolerate. That's a joke.
Find out more at goredforwomen.org.
At Sweet Tomatoes, we believe that eating fresh, healthy, wholesome food is an important part of leading a well-balanced life. Sweet Tomatoes food is fresh from the farm, to your fork, and made from scratch every single day. Treat yourself and your family to great-tasting recipes, fresh, seasonal vegetables, and tossed salads prepared every 20 minutes. Come dine with us and create a meal tailored to your specific needs. There are 4 Sweet Tomato locations in Las Vegas to serve you. Check out our full menu. Visit www.sweettomatoes.com. Open 7 days a week. See you at Sweet Tomatoes. Create a meal, indulge, and enjoy.
Are you sick and tired of your garage door going up but never coming down, or going down and coming back up on its own? The kids knocking the motion sensors around? Oh, it's a nightmare. Custom Hearth & Door is here to help. They are your one-stop shop for garage doors, garage door openers, and repairs. Great service deals all the time. Also, you can't be Custom Hearth and Door and not do fireplaces, as they provide high-quality wood-burning and gas-fired fireplaces, fireplace inserts and stoves, chimney systems, and accessories. Custom Hearth features the best brand names in the business, including the LiftMaster garage door openers with their new keyless entry with fingerprint verification, plus products from Real Fire, Craftsman, Fire Magic, and Lennox. Call Custom Hearth and Door at 657-1280. That's 657-1280. Or visit them online at custom-hearth.com. That's custom-hearth.com.
A toast to all you caniacs. Ever faithful aficionados of fresh, never frozen premium chicken fingers from Raising Cane's. You are keen connoisseurs of Cane's crispy, extra-long crinkle-cut fries, dedicated to the made-fresh daily Cane sauce that twirls tongues in a tastefully tangy tango. Caniacs, we toast you all from Raising Cane's.
5 Las Vegas locations. Go to ilovecanes.com.
With the home foreclosure crisis upon us, vacant properties and deserted houses are changing the landscape of our neighborhoods. These deserted houses attract vandals, thieves, and con artists. In times like these, keeping your neighborhood safe is more important than ever. When foreclosures rise, so can crime. Uncut lawns, trash, and empty driveways are open invitations for crime. Empty homes make perfect locations for drug dealers. Squatters find vacant houses, move in, and take over. Teenagers use abandoned homes for parties and to vandalize. To combat these new threats, urge your community association to work with local police to patrol vacant homes. Contact your city, county, or housing authority to cut overgrown lawns and pick up trash. Report broken windows and doors to the police and educate your child that it is not okay to go into an abandoned house. To learn more about protecting your neighborhood, visit ncpc.org or contact your local law enforcement agency.
A message from the U.S. Department of Justice, National Crime Prevention Council, and the Ad Council.
Hi there, this is Rick Ellis, and you're listening to Curtain Call with Erik Ball.
Rick Ellis, one of the book writers for Jersey Boys. Thank you. And we have on the street, Kaj. Kaj, can you hear me?
Hello, yes,
Okay.
I can hear you.
He's calling from the 7-Eleven. We gave him a mission. The man on the
And
street.
money.
And money.
Which
We're gonna send him-
I'm surprised he's actually...
Send him to the 7-Eleven to get the weirdest thing that you could possibly... What is the state of 7-Eleven over there, by the way? Are you getting looks?
It's actually calm and collective around here. I got the video poker machines that are over here. Nobody's playing them right now, but it's really good. I got a couple of customers like looking around. As store owners here, you know, he's happy, smiling, gives a good report to the customers here. Yeah, no, it's pretty nice over here.
What's the store owner's name?
I think it's Mark V.
Mark Z?
Yeah, Mark V.
Mark Z.
I don't know,
Mark?
What's the V? What's your last name? Vega.
What's your social security
Mark
number?
Vega.
Mark Vega.
All right, so have you found something interesting to bring us?
Yes, I have. We have two things here. One, if you're looking for like a handy snack, we have to have barbecue potato chips that are energy potato chips.
Energy potato chips?
Yeah, energy potato chips, like it's like a rock star, but a potato chip.
I want a soda, please.
Oh my
They're
gosh.
called Arma Energy SNX. Kettle cooked
SNX.
barbecue potato chips.
They're Snicks.
They're Snicks. I want a Snicks. Okay, what else do you have?
Okay, and then but the lady on the go, you know, if you don't have if you forgot to like shave your leg during the course
Which
of the
Kim
morning,
had to for her film, yeah.
they have as seen on TV the smooth away sandpaper rubbing application where you can rub this pad onto your legs and it will.
Okay, who's going to rub it on their legs?
What? Yeah.
Kim will.
He found some sandpaper rub hair away stuff.
Done. I will
Done.
On
He's
his face.
volunteering.
Ow!
Oh, Brandon. Brandon just revealed his chest. It's like a Wookiee.
Yes.
All right, bring it back. Kim said she wants a soda.
Yes, please. And some Reese's
You want a soda?
peanut butter cups.
Ooh, can I have a Faygo?
Yes.
can I have a Faygo, Kaj?
I haven't eaten anything all day.
And a hot dog.
Bring Glenn a hot dog.
Yeah, one of the really shriveled ones that's been there for like 8 hours.
I just want
It's
to
like a
say
Slim
that
Jim
Brendan
on a bun.
McClenahan has an Oregon Happy Trail.
So we.
I call it the tree of life.
Okay, so we need a hot dog, a soda, and a Faygo, and we'll see you.
And Reese's peanut butter cups.
And Reese's peanut butter cups. And
What soda?
What soda?
And some Funyuns.
Diet Coke.
Diet Coke. Okay, we'll see you in a bit, Kaj. Thanks, man. We just let him go. We're just like,
Give
good luck with that.
him money.
I can't
and-
wait to see this sandpaper.
I can't
Very
wait
nice.
to see if it works.
If you're just now tuning in, we're shaving ourselves here on Curtain Call. No, actually, that was Kaj, the man on the street. We sent him on a mission to the 7-Eleven this week, which is always fun.
And 7-Eleven has sandpaper
leg hair removal.
It's like Nair, but in the form. I think he was just in like the home improvement section of 7-Eleven and just picked up some
like
sandpaper.
a mountain man's
Supposed to be in the
Nair.
food
It's
section,
like
though, that's what concerns me.
It's well, you know what? The automotive, home improvement, and food section
It's
are
all
all
in the
in
same
the
aisle.
same aisle.
and the office supply.
Supply.
I can pick a pen.
It's like a ruler.
Sandpaper.
Where's your office supply section? Oh, we only have one office supply.
And it's sandpaper.
And it's sandpaper.
Well, listen, we were talking earlier about the upcoming ragtag production at the Onyx Theater of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And we have Brandon McClenahan, who plays McMurphy, and we have Kim Glover, who's playing Nurse Ratched. And now, is it Ratched or Ratchet?
It's Wretched.
Ratchet.
Wretched.
I thought so. I sounded weird when I just said
It's
it.
all, most people think it's ratchet, like they're
Like the
wrench
tool.
ratchet.
Yeah.
It's
Though
ratchet.
I think that
Brandon
there
says
is,
it better.
Ratchet.
I do think, and Kim and I talked about this, that we think that there's a text clue in the name for Ratchet, for that kind of, because obviously it's alluding to that. And we talked about the fact that she's very, like her emotions are always constrained and she's always
She's
lets them
ratcheted up.
ratcheted in.
Not
So,
wretched,
yeah.
because that's what I think of with
When you
Kim.
think
Well,
of
and it
Kim,
has
me too.
elements of different words, like rancid is in
Yes.
there. Rat
Wretched.
is in there a little bit.
Yeah.
Ratchet. It just it's a fun word.
Rat.
Not that
Rat.
that means anything, but it's
Chad,
interesting.
Rat.
which is her second cousin.
Right.
Rat.
We find out
feces.
later.
Rat.
Yeah, it's very important
Can't-
stuff
It's in my background that I wrote.
here. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest opens this weekend. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, is it? I think Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Just Friday,
Friday,
Saturday.
Friday, Saturday, no Sunday.
Friday and
mornings.
Saturday.
Third,
Oh,
4th, 10th, and 11th.
3rd, 4th, 10th, and 11th at the Onyx
Wow.
Theater.
4
OnyxTheater.com.
4 performances.
4.
So get out there and go see it. This is a large cast too. About 15.
Well, and the Onyx
Yeah.
is a great place to see a show because it has an intimate atmosphere to begin with. And this talk about the perfect show to see in that space.
And they apparently are doing something that they
And
can't allude
more
too
intimate.
much, but it will be intimate and
origami,
immersive.
basket
and,
weaving.
Underwater.
Our man in the street showed me a little photo, so yeah, that's it's interesting the concept that's developed out of that. So it took me a minute to figure out what am I looking at.
Right.
I knew what it was, and even I was like, what is this?
Well, it looked like the
picture?
sound
Oh,
booth, you know, and it's like, oh wait, that's not it. So, so yeah,
Eric is confused.
Yeah,
You have to
I
go
need
see it,
the
Eric.
video. Okay. That and sandpaper, apparently. It's going to be interesting. Well,
volunteering for a lot tonight. Taking one for the team, gang.
I mean,
Diving on the curtain call.
and the only night you didn't bring a video.
I say we do half of Sean's face and half of Brandon's belly, and see which comes up with off of more hair.
I think we should race.
My belly has to
I
be
don't
on stage in
think
a
it
few
would
days.
matter. Look at that.
I don't want to. It's all white and pasty.
It's super soft though. I condition.
I don't want.
I do. I let it soak for a while too. I don't just condition and then rinse it right off.
Nope.
I
don't need to know that.
I had to see that for like 25, 30 performances of Cannibal,
That's
and,
right,
and
yeah.
I had to see the backside as well.
Which is just as hairy.
I
Yeah,
got
I
it.
A friend of ours, Gio, headed out of town. Did you get a chance
He
to?
leaves on Monday.
Leaves
Yeah.
on Monday.
Yeah.
Did you guys get a chance to
Yeah.
see him this
We
weekend?
did.
Yeah, we did.
Okay, good.
We did.
That was my little shout out, Gio.
He
Sorry.
said goodbye to all of us.
I'm not that much of a slave driver. Close.
Okay.
We went after rehearsal.
He let us go. It's very
And then we got back in our
I
hole.
beat them both across their feet, the bottoms of their feet.
Yeah.
With
And I said,
bamboo.
Walk to see Gio. It's all character work.
Well, and that's something that you're known for doing. And Sean, you always have some element of
The blisters will make you better.
Sean has some techniques that he uses to take his actors to places that they may not necessarily be comfortable going.
Like a
and I'm curious because with a large cast like this, you don't have a whole lot of opportunity to indulge yourself with that because time is valuable and you don't have 15 weeks to do this with 15 actors. But I'm curious if
there's always a healthy element of play in what you do. How much time have you spent on rehearsal? I mean,
well, okay. So there's a two-part question there. And I love again,
my part and Eric's
thoughts.
part.
Yeah, just jump in there. But Glenn, to answer that question, again, it's one of those things where there was this part of me that was like, okay, I have to make sure that I'm giving time for us to work that and to do that. And we blocked very, very slowly so that we could spend time with each scene. But the great part was like there's the electrocution scene, the shock therapy scene. We finished that scene and Brandon and Tim were both sobbing, got up off the table, and they got up off the table and they were both flat, wore out. And so, I mean, at that point, there's no more work for me to do. You know what I mean? They went there automatically. And so I'm not, going to do that kind of work needlessly.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I guess you've worked with some of these actors before, and so obviously the luxury of a director is knowing, okay, I've worked with these guys, I know what they're going to be able to bring.
I think it's a new challenge, though. It's trying to figure out what new there is, what you can develop new together.
Mm-hmm. And I think we've done that. I think, and Kim and I, this is our first time working together, but it's been just fantastic. And she definitely, she goes big and plays hard, and it's
Speaking
really
of
fun.
going big, that's a big Coke.
Holy moly!
Diet Coke. Thank you, Kaj.
Spent the whole $20 on a Diet Coke.
I'll tell you, one of the things that I'm known for that's interesting is when I did Greater Tuna. We're going to come back to this in just a minute, I promise.
Okay.
But when I did Greater Tuna, Walter came into one of my rehearsals and asked me if he could sit in. And I said yes. And then afterwards, he told me that he owed me an apology. And I said, why? And he said, because I didn't think that you could get as much done as you've gotten done with 2 hours a night, 3 nights a week. And I said, well, in this case, I had 2 actors to deal with. So we have pretty much stayed away from their weekends and have really only rehearsed 4 nights a week. And so we're just make sure that we're efficient, and
you use your time wisely.
Yeah, we work hard. So. And the other thing is, it's funny, is that if I say we're doing this today, and we get through that, we go home. Because I've got it mapped out pretty tight. And so if we get through it, we go home. And a lot of other directors are like, why would you do that? Why not move on to another scene? And it's because then I won't have the time with what we've moved on to explore it as thoroughly as I'd like.
Well, and I think that's important. Often, let me tell you, a good director starts with a mutual appreciation of each other's time, if you ask me. So I think that's very important. What you got over there, Glenn? Holy cow.
It's a hot dog, and I'm not 10 years old, so I don't know why you put ketchup on it, but...
Oh, sweet.
I'm going to give you the smaller one.
Okay, now hang on a second. Talk to me about what you got over there, Kim. It's called the Keeping It Smooth, or what? What's it called?
It's called Smooth Away. Removes hair instantly and pain-free.
Pain-free. Are we doing something on the leg?
You know it's a good product when
What
it's
is it?
3M.
Prepare skin for hair removal by...
It's by 3M?
Thoroughly washing and drying the skin.
That's the tape company.
We're going to skip that
The
part.
adhesive pad is 3M.
That's the adhesive...
Yes.
Is it just
I'm
duct
taking off
tape?
the adhesive backing.
Oh, I like how there's a finger version for those hard-to-reach spots. Because there are crevices in your body that you can't reach with a
Be
palm
sure there is no
version.
cream, cosmetics, or other ointments left
Do you have
on
any
the
other
skin.
ointments on your skin?
Well, considering that we are not thoroughly washing the skin, I guess it really doesn't matter.
Well, now, hang
at
on.
this
Put
point,
your...
but no.
Hang on.
That's
No,
what
this
the
is going to...
directions
Hang on.
say.
Don't do anything yet, because I'm going to put this on.
Well, you
there.
got some smart water. You can rinse it.
We're videoing this.
We need to
Yeah,
video
here we
this.
go.
Oh, no.
No, hang on. Don't do it yet.
done. That's done.
Don't
Here.
do it yet. Don't do it yet.
All right.
So this is what we found.
It puts the lotion on the skin, or it gets the sandpaper hair remover again.
Oh my gosh. I need to get... Hang on, you got to move it around so I can...
Is that our idea of thoroughly washing and drying?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay,
So
we're
step
good.
number 1 is complete. Okay.
So let's see that thing. Let's see.
It says for best results, hair should be no longer than a 1/4 long.
Okay.
Here's the thing.
hair should be no longer than a fourth long.
Yeah.
But that's
Okay,
not
now
even
I
a
want you.
measurement,
I
a
want
fourth
you
long?
to take a quick moment to video the sadistic pleasure of Nurse Ratchet's face before she does this. All of our frustrations in rehearsal are about to be taken out on me right now.
All right.
Right now.
All right.
Here, oh,
I feel like
just-
I'm on an episode of Jackass.
Okay, go. Let's see what happens. Here we go.
Yeah, it's for your own good, Sean.
Stand it up. Does it hurt?
Not so far. Not so far. Yeah, it's not really doing anything, but okay, harder.
Do it harder. Faster and harder. Okay. It is coming off, though.
Mother of all creatures,
I think she's just sandpapering his skin off.
No, look, it is coming off.
Well, here, go. Let's get over here and see. We'll
Nice
compare.
and hard, nice and hard. Give it a go.
Don't hit the shin bone. That's the. Okay.
There's got to be some friction pain.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that right there.
If you're
Look at
listening
this.
right
This is-
now,
that's
she is
skin.
sandpapering his leg. That's what. That's all it is.
That's skin.
Those
right
noises. Yeah, that's just.
For the hard to reach place.
Yeah, get the finger one for the hard to reach places.
You should probably have eaten some of the energy potato chips first, so you had more energy for that.
The
Kim.
things I do for my public.
Wow, that.
I love my listeners.
I was just gonna.
I'm like 12 shades
Let me
of red
see
right
that.
now.
Let me see that. Now it has like.
Lysander,
skin on
this
it.
is
You can
officially
have
the
it.
worst that we've derailed.
Wow.
Right here.
Yep.
Thank you, Kaj.
And it's
Man on the street prevails again.
And
ladies
Eric is
gentlemen.
playing with it.
It's not really rough. Here, give me the finger version.
Oh my god.
Man on the street
Because I have some
prevails
nose
again.
hair that I gotta.
Let's give a little man on the street recognition here.
Yeah, thank you so much,
Thank you,
Koch.
Koch.
It is made by 3M tape.
Yep.
Yeah, the same thing that holds your wall
Yeah, you put your
portraits
little
up.
wall sticky things on it.
And it is it's stickier on this part that you put on the application thing than it is on the. Okay, here we go.
Oh, it comes with a
It's
little
like a little
carrying
It's like a
case.
little. It's like a little finger sandal.
You even have your own carrying case.
I'm gonna try it on my wrist and see what happens. Because I have that weird.
Why do you
little
have
thing
hair
of-
on your wrist?
No, right here. Look, right here. I got that little
Hey,
thing of hair there.
There
I'm
is
gonna
a
try it.
warning, so just be careful.
What does it say?
It says stop.
Stop.
Do not use this on your wrists.
Be careful.
If you use it too much, hair
Read
may
it.
grow
Read
there.
it as Nurse Ratchet. Let's hear what it says as Nurse Ratchet.
Can
Let's
I
do it.
just, can I just read it in my other funny voice? Come on. No, shut up. Oh my god.
Oh, hey-oh. It's getting real in here.
This hurts. This is dumb.
Does it hurt?
This doesn't really work. It's just like if I took anything and rubbed it against me like this for long
Your
enough.
hair would
Yeah, but
come off.
but not everything is made by 3M. So.
Yeah, so there you go.
There's like there's like two hairs that are holding out.
Oh my gosh.
Warning is Nurse Ratchet.
Before using on face and or sensitive areas, use on a small area of skin and wait.
Woo! Oh my gosh, that's it is rather smooth though.
That was a little McMurphy and Ratchet, and our man on the street can do his awesome impression of Dr. Spivey. too.
Oh, could you please?
Oh Lord, here we go.
Do it. With this one right here.
If no irritation recurs, follow directions for complete hair removal.
Oh my.
And the skin is officially off of Eric's hand.
Love you.
We love you, John.
There's like two hairs that are fighting against it.
They're like,
They're like I won't go. I won't go.
I'm so glad you had your coffee.
Here we go.
Is this what you
It
usually
burns. I don't like this. Give it up.
And
It just started stinging again. Let's take a look.
It's like icy hot.
okay, well, while you guys are staring at Sean's hairless leg, I'm going to try one of the
Oh, yes.
energy laced. This is
That's cancer.
Arma Energy Snicks. They ran out of room for vowels, apparently. These are Cobra kettle cooked barbecue potato chips.
Here, hold it up there.
So I'm not sure if they're made of actual snake, but they do have caffeine, taurine, B vitamins, and, well, of course it has protein. It's potatoes.
In a potato chip?
Same energy as a premium energy drink in the shape of a potato chip.
Give it a
So,
go.
hold on.
These are real chewing sounds. These have not been added.
Are they good?
Glenn will
taste
not
like
be
a Red
sleeping
Bull?
tonight.
I was half expecting it to not taste like a potato chip. It tastes like a potato chip.
Extreme.
He's like,
Well, how
he's
do you
like Gordon Ramsay over here.
Tasteless. Cardboard.
He goes,
Horrible.
doesn't taste like a risotto at all.
Gordon Ramsay suddenly was Cockney. That was amazing. That was awesome.
It's always a jolly holiday with you, Mary Poppins.
Lots of room.
That's awesome.
With one enormous chair.
So, if any of you are tuning in,
horse is completely.
If any of you were tuning in to listen to the theater talk, too bad.
Oh yeah,
it turned into a beauty salon.
We typically derail after the first hour because
You know what? There's a bit of me that always wonders if producer Chris, who listens to our show as we record, is when we start derailing, if he's pulling his hair out going, why are you guys derailing? But the more I think about it, the more he's probably like, I'm not that interested now. And then we derail and he stops what he's doing and he's like, okay, now it's going to get good.
Now it's good. They're shaving each other's legs.
We got moved to the permanent 10 to 12 hour because of this.
Because of this moment right here.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, let's do this. Let's take a quick break because we are in the last half hour here. You're listening to Curtain Call. This is Erik Ball with Glenn Heath and Sean Critchfield. With us today are the cast of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, a ragtag theater production being presented at the Onyx Theater this weekend, Friday and Saturday, and next weekend, Friday and Saturday, starring Brandon McClenahan and Kim Glover.
Alphabetic. Brandon, Kim.
Oh yeah, well by first name. I always do it by
doing
first
it by
name.
general.
The incomparable Kim Glover and Brandon McClenahan.
See, it doesn't
and
sound
of course, joining us as always is the man on the street, Codge, Michael Close. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back with more Curtain Call.
Energy chips.
Snacks. That's a public service announcement.
Hey, it's Andrew Keenan Bolger. I play Crutchy in Newsies, and you are watching Curtain Call with Erik Ball.
A word from the cast of Hot in Cleveland.
Want to hear a joke?
Oh, yeah, sure.
What's the #1 killer of women?
Well, you're still here, so that rules out crankiness. And tracksuits.
Heart disease.
But that's a joke?
Oh, no, it's an absolute fact, but the American Heart Association says you can save lives by passing it along to 5 women you love.
Aww.
So I'm starting with 3 I tolerate. That's a joke.
Find out more at goredforwomen.org.
With the home foreclosure crisis upon us, vacant properties and deserted houses are changing the landscape of our neighborhoods. These deserted houses attract vandals, thieves, and con artists. In times like these, keeping your neighborhood safe is more important than ever. When foreclosures rise, so can crime. Uncut lawns, trash, and empty driveways are open invitations for crime. Empty homes make perfect locations for drug dealers. Squatters find vacant houses, move in, and take over. Teenagers use abandoned homes for parties and to vandalize. To combat these new threats, urge your community association to work with local police to patrol vacant homes. Contact your city, county, or housing authority to cut overgrown lawns and pick up trash. Report broken windows and doors to the police and educate your child that it is not okay to go into an abandoned house. To learn more about protecting your neighborhood, visit ncpc.org or contact your local law enforcement agency.
A message from the U.S. Department of Justice, National Crime Prevention Council, and the Ad Council.
At Sweet Tomatoes, we believe that eating fresh, healthy, wholesome food is an important part of leading a well-balanced life. Sweet Tomatoes food is fresh from the farm, to your fork, and made from scratch every single day. Treat yourself and your family to great-tasting recipes, fresh, seasonal vegetables, and tossed salads prepared every 20 minutes. Come dine with us and create a meal tailored to your specific needs. There are 4 Sweet Tomato locations in Las Vegas to serve you. Check out our full menu. Visit www.sweettomatoes.com. Open 7 days a week. See you at Sweet Tomatoes. Create a meal, indulge, and enjoy.
A toast to all you caniacs. Ever faithful aficionados of fresh, never frozen premium chicken fingers from Raising Cane's. You are keen connoisseurs of Cane's crispy, extra long crinkle cut fries, dedicated to the made fresh daily cane sauce that twirls tongues in a tastefully tangy tango. Caniacs, We toast you all from Raising Cane's.
5 Las Vegas locations. Go to ilovecanes.com.
At Sweet Tomatoes, we believe that eating fresh, healthy, wholesome food is an important part of leading a well-balanced life. Sweet Tomatoes food is fresh from the farm, to your fork, and made from scratch every single day. Treat yourself and your family to great-tasting recipes, fresh, seasonal vegetables, and tossed salads prepared every 20 minutes. Come dine with us and create a meal tailored to your specific needs. There are 4 Sweet Tomato locations in Las Vegas to serve you. Check out our full menu. Visit www.sweettomatoes.com. Open 7 days a week. See you at Sweet Tomatoes. Create a meal, indulge, and enjoy.
Hi, this is Heidi Blickenstaff from Title of Show. You're listening to Curtain Call with Eric Ball.
Playbills and monkeys and monkeys and playbills and monkeys and playbills and monkeys and playbills and monkeys.
Speaking of monkeys, in the studio is the cast of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, the upcoming ragtag production going on at the Onyx Theater this Friday. It opens.
By the way, it's a co-production. Ragtag and Onyx.
I wondered that. I wondered if it was a co-production. And the stars of the show, Kim Glover and Brandon McClenahan. See how I reversed it like that?
It just doesn't sound as good.
It's very...
Well, I don't know. You start with Kim Glover, and you're
That's like saying Nash Crosby and Stills.
Yeah.
You know, the Vandellas and
everybody loved Garfunkel and Simon. Costello and Abbott.
And Roy and Siegfried.
Teller and Penn. Robin and Batman.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it.
I'm just saying, there's more to Robin than just his costume.
Let's get into that.
Let's talk about Robin. Let's talk about Robin for a second
Dick
here.
Grayson Robin?
First of all, which one's the worse, Robin or Aquaman?
Robin.
Really? You really quickly said that.
Yeah, I've very strong beliefs about Aquaman. I don't think it's his fault.
Aquaman gets a raw deal.
Yeah. I mean, if you're underwater, what are you doing? Yeah, everything.
But
sharks listen.
But here's the thing. Marvel had Prince Namor. You know, and
that's right.
And DC has Aquaman, and you know, it's like one is like muscular and cool looking, and the other one wears orange.
Yeah.
Well, at least he's safe in traffic.
Exactly, and that's the most important superpower.
But he can talk to fish, and Robin can't.
You guys
do
say
anything.
this until the next time that there's a giant tsunami, and then you're all going to be like, I changed my mind about Aquaman. And he's going to be like, that's tough. I listened to that episode of Curtain Call.
Robin's going to be in the Batcopter giving us the finger.
Yeah. I can't think of one situation where I'm like, man, I really wish Robin was there.
Why does Robin exist? What? And can I ask you something?
Because he was Bruce Wayne's ward.
Yeah, I know, but where did... I never fully understood where Robin came from.
He was
from the egg.
Children of the Grace family.
I know, but they flew, and I got that. But of all the birds...
he chose Robin.
He became Nightwing, so at least he grew up.
Yeah.
You know what? There's a lot of creepy things about Batman. You know, millionaire recluse has his own little boy around him, rich. No one's going to question him.
Michael Jackson.
Yeah, it is. Michael Jackson was a superhero.
Maybe Michael Jackson was Batman.
Who knew?
Michael Jackson is Batman.
No, but seriously, Robin.
Yeah. What a strange choice.
I'm Batman.
I mean, and we all bought into it because Batman was such a badass.
I gotta tell you, I can't really.
And see the song "Who's Bad"? It's actually "Who's Bat."
I can't talk about Batman. It makes me too upset because me, and Eric and Kaj, all got tickets. We're all set to go see the Batman show.
Don't go there.
They came through town, and then we all forgot about it until the day before. Had tickets the day before, and Eric called around, and we were all like, none of us can make it.
No, you don't understand, because I was in the same boat. I had an obligation that evening, too, and I was like, I forgot about these. And then I called, and I was like, guys, is there any way you can get out of your stuff? Because I don't think I can get out of my thing. And we were, like, devastated. And then Jake Taylor, a mutual friend of ours, he took at least 2 of the tickets, and he went, and he brought me back a Batman mug as a thank you, and I thought that was very nice of him. But that mug taunts me to this day. He's like, you could have been there. And he said it was really cool. It was that stunt show, you know, that started in Europe.
Well, yeah, I remember that because you were like asking me if I could go. And
it was
like,
so...
Well, who's all going?
It
No
looked
one.
so cool. Okay, the original Robin was given that name because the creator was inspired by Robin Hood. Before he was just Robin, he was also called Robin the Boy Wonder, and Nightwing. That's okay.
Yeah, there's nothing Robin Hood-ish about that character.
No, other than the tights.
Yeah, he doesn't have any.
So I do want to say that we commented earlier about
here's Sean trying to get us back on track.
Yeah, the Garfunkel and Simon that segue. But I do want to say that and I totally am not. Well, it's going to sound like I'm buttering up my actor, and Glenn's going to say something snarky regardless. So
Yes.
I'm just going to go ahead and jump right.
He had a
out
hot
there.
dog. He's happy.
I'm just
and energy chips.
just throw this out there. Honestly, there was a bit of concern in casting the role of Nurse Ratched that I had someone that was going to be able to hold up to the force of nature that is McClenahan. And I promise you that if you go see the show, there is no concern about whether or not she holds up to the performance.
She's beating him right now.
Yes. Yes.
Well, here, I find it interesting because she's sitting here and she can't hold herself together in the studio.
Mm-hmm.
She's constantly red-faced and embarrassed simply because we may say,
Look at her, she's doing it right now.
I didn't even say the word and she's,
Well, she's upset because of the Robin.
But let me tell you something. Honestly, there was a moment the other night in rehearsal when my actors are still playing and they're still having a good time, and I hope they do throughout the performance too. And they're still exploring and they're still learning and growing. And there's this moment where they all derailed a little more than they normally do, and it turned into hodgepodge of crazy people running around, having
Second
a
hour of
circus.
curtain call. Gotcha.
And there was a moment where it was supposed to be, the beat was supposed to be that this is the moment where Kim says her line, and the beat just got stepped on. And I looked up, and she didn't compete, she didn't do anything, she didn't even look at them. She just stood calmly, staring straight ahead, until everybody shut up and realized and turned around and looked at her, and then all trickled back to their seats, and then she began again.
Except McMurphy.
And McMurphy fell in line a bit. He fell in line, but he definitely tones it down. He drops from a 9 to a 2 when that moment. And it was really, really nice because for me, that's the right choice.
Yeah.
She can't compete. The right move, and she's figured it out with that group of actors, is the stillness is going to be what counteracts the crazy.
Wow. That's kind of cool, actually, if you think about it. Yeah. It's kind of like
now you made her actually think about it. Oh, way to go.
Yeah.
2 months of rehearsal
show.
Gone.
Wow. That was awesome. That's actually really very interesting. What do you think about that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a telecom.
Kim Glover, everybody.
No, she's just analyzing everyone's fixation. She's going to make it.
She's hoping it happens right now in the room. We all go silent.
We're all recording it in a logbook, and she's going to discuss it with us.
I really wish I had the camera.
You're such a brat.
She's 50 shades of blush right now.
Yeah. I just didn't want them to step on my line.
Oh.
Y'all just need to shut up.
And they did. And they did. And they did.
That was my thought process. Shut up. It's my turn to talk.
That's your response to the compliment Sean gave me.
Thank you, Sean.
I just wanted to shut up.
Sean thought you were doing something brilliant.
I don't care how my actors get there as long as they get there.
It's awesome.
You're great, Kim.
Sean thought you were a good actor, and you're just a diva.
You're just like, I can't.
You know what? I'm not going to lie to you. It happens with a handful of my actors, where the other day, Troy Tinker did something, and I was like, Troy, that was so great, and you had that moment, and then you did the funny thing, and for the first time, McMurphy didn't laugh, and you just looked like a little boy, like lost in the woods. And he goes, okay, thank you. And then he turns around and he looks at Brandon and he shrugs his shoulders and shakes his head. So apparently,
That's
like,
awesome.
sometimes I'm just reading into the performances. They're like, I just said the line, dude. So maybe I'm a failure. Maybe that's what it really comes down to.
No, you're interpreting. You're interpretive.
Just kidding.
The War of the Worlds radio broadcast. They read into that, too. Look what happened. Now Will Smith's a star of science fiction.
Yeah, and his son can be in any movie that he's in.
Yeah.
And is.
You know what? Let's ask Kim another question.
I was going to say...
because she's ready for it.
Look at her.
She is. So what's it like wearing scrubs?
I don't wear scrubs.
Oh, what do you wear?
A nurse's uniform.
Ah.
What's it like wearing a nurse's uniform?
I don't know.
Oh, you said it, surly. Naughty.
I was just gonna see if she would break and start laughing and being embarrassed because I talk about her nurse's uniform.
Oh, good.
They should just go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait for everyone to get quiet and then say your line.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
Shh. Let Kim talk.
Oh, we really want to know?
Oh.
The nurse's uniform is fine. I bought it online.
From
great.
Fredericks, where
I'm just
I'm
gonna.
not going to dignify that with a
Listen.
response.
you just did.
That was a response.
So, What Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is coming up this weekend
Dale Wasserman.
2 weekends, Friday, Saturday,
at the Onyx Theater. You can go to onyxtheater.com, get tickets. Yeah, with an R-E.
So actually,
theater,
their
R-E,
cast,
the
their
classy
cast,
way.
their cast can come see our shows.
Oh yeah, you can.
We
yeah.
can. And we will.
Legally Blonde is this weekend, and then you can't. Oh yeah. Oh.
I mean, we still can.
That's not good. That's
And
sad.
no one on the air can hear you, Michael, because you're talking so far away from
That's
the mic.
very, very sad. Yeah, Legally Blonde's at Faith Lutheran this
Go
weekend
see
and
it.
next. Faith Theater Company with
Go
an
see
R-E.
Glenn.
.com.
I'm not in
Starring
Legally
Urinetown.
Blonde.
And Glenn is in Urinetown over at UNLV.
At the Judy,
UNLVtickets.com.
Judy Bailey Theater. Tickets.
UNLVtickets.com.
We'll get you there.
Just want to also say that Kaj is my stage manager for Cuckoo's Nest. Ta-da!
Kaj, sit.
Now you're on the hot seat.
Give me a
Blush.
what has happened stage manager wise?
Bodge, what's it like
What's
wearing
the
a
back-
nurse's uniform?
That's a good.
It's a good
Glover.
impression of Kim, actually. It's very good.
Except you need the giggle.
That's more like a dolphin.
That was horrible. I'm sorry, Kim. That was not your laugh.
Kim Glover, ladies and gentlemen.
Ask away. What's the question?
Well, I was just going to ask. Yeah, every stage manager has a good coming to the opening night story. You know, how's it fleshed out and everything.
This show was probably the most amazing show that I've ever been a part of.
Really,
Like,
really,
almost
talk to me.
hands down. Like it is a beautiful, beautiful piece of artwork, and I am
Awesome.
thrilled to be a part of this company. It's really nice.
That's
It's
great.
a great thing. Any coming of it? It's not really like Sean. As far as the director goes, Sean is amazing. Like he gives
And
the
$10
people just,
comes out to-
he lets them read the script, and he just lets them play, and from that they just kind of come into their own, and then he might give them a couple of suggestions here and there, but it's all the actors, and it's just fantastic.
Sean always has trust in his actors. Otherwise,
Yes.
I don't think he'd ever cast them. But he kind of, it's a gentle direction, kind of like poking with a stick, just to make sure you're on the right track. It just, I'm going to nudge you back on the trail a little bit because you were
kind of the crocodile hunter
you were
of directors.
grazing off somewhere you shouldn't.
Oh, look at this actor.
even
I'm
with
going to poke him
his-
with a stick. We'll see if we piss him off.
Oh look, we did.
Oh, look, he's a hungry bugger.
Yeah, but even with that, like if he feels that they're getting a little bit too comfortable with, like they're trying to set stuff in their mind, he'll like get them up and like flip them on their end and be like, all right, instead of doing this subtly, let's do this just over the top, and let's see what comes of it. And they'll 9 times out of 10 they'll even figure out something else.
Kim
that
is the
comes up
1
with
out
it.
of 10 that doesn't do that.
She only knows over the top.
Yeah, she's the other one.
Yeah.
There's the 9 out of 10.
I don't know. You insulted me before I even got here,
Just
so
wait.
you know.
Just wait until you see the performance. If you think she only knows over the top, just wait till you see this performance. And also, there is a world of nuance in what she's doing within that really calm place.
And I jest because some of Kim's best work has been over the last year in Scottish play and in Sweeney.
Mhm.
So
Hamlet wasn't Scottish.
Oh, Scheiße.
Still.
Yeah,
That'd be a
no.
choice.
That'd be-
It was Hamlet, wasn't it? No, and just
Aye, that's
Brett-
the rub.
yeah.
I don't get out much. They need to let me out of my cage every now and then. To see the world, I need to be like a living Milo and Otis movie.
Which one are you?
Both.
Does you mean Otis and Milo?
Otis and Milo.
Modus.
And if you've never seen Milo and Otis, you can buy it for $5 at any Walgreens. It's wonderful.
That's a good.
It's
feel-good
poetic.
movie. Anyway, Kim, I give you a hard time, but I love you to death, and I'm very excited for you for the role. But
Yeah,
I hope there's a way I get to see it, but I know there isn't. So
Well, you can
Yeah.
come during the
Awesome.
week.
Awesome.
again, I've got Tech Week all week.
Why don't you spend
Yeah, I am special.
So let's recap here for a second. For those of you just tuning in, it's midnight. You're scrolling through the radio stations going, what should I listen to? And you're wondering what we're laughing at. Well,
Wait,
first of all, we shaved Sean's leg with a sandpaper thing. That we found.
I had a hot dog.
He had a hot dog from the same aisle as the sandpaper leg remover from 7-Eleven.
And that wasn't ketchup then.
I don't want to know what it was. And we were talking about the Onyx Theater and Ragtag's collaborative production of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest that's taking place at the Onyx Theater this Friday and Saturday and the following Friday and Saturday. Go to onyxtheater.com for tickets. You'll see the incomparable Kim Glover and Brendan McClenahan in the role, directed by Sean Critchfield and stage managed by the man on the street, Kaj Michael Close.
Any music behind it?
Sandy Stein is doing our sound design for it, and he's done some original composition, but he and I are in agreement that this is not a show that you underscore.
Okay.
So you will hear his original composition, but it won't be underscored in the show.
Gotcha. Very cool.
And then upcoming this weekend as well is UNLV's, is it the Conservatory Theater?
Yeah, it's Nevada Conservatory Theater.
Nevada Conservatory Theater's production of Urinetown, the musical, directed by Tim Bennett, starring the incomparable Glenn Heath. And Sergeant Barrel.
There's, I'm lower on the list, but happy to be part
You're
of
a
the
lower
production.
barrel?
Yeah. And then we've got Faith Lutheran that's opening up this next week over at
Faith Theater Company.
We got Legally Blonde opening at Faith
Lutheran Blonde.
Yeah.
Lutheran Blonde.
But we still have some other shows happening. We've got Camelot that's still playing.
Oh yeah,
over
Signature
at,
Productions. Camelot.
Summerlin Library.
Yes, and that's going on for the next 2 or 3 weekends.
2 more weeks, I think.
2 more weekends.
Did Dealer's Choice finish up
Yeah,
over?
Dealer's Choice is over. Death of a Salesman.
Death of a Salesman
right now,
just
Cockroach
opened up.
Theater.
Yeah. Ernie Curcio.
Fantastic.
No doubt.
Wonderful
Oh
performance.
yeah, I did. I saw the. I saw their second to final dress, and it was really a great production.
Nice.
It was fantastic. It's really beautiful. It's charming. And one of the things that I find is that anytime you have a piece that's a nostalgia piece, like that's a very dysfunctional piece, so it kind of has that advantage going for it with the nostalgia anyway. But anytime you have a nostalgia piece, if it starts getting too sweet, if it hurts my teeth at any point, I tune out. I'm done with the show. And they really walked that line very well.
Very cool. And just other words with regards to the community at large and what's coming up. We have auditions for Legally Blonde at Super Summer Theater coming up very soon. And then also the producers, the 4th show in the series out at the ranch is going, the auditions haven't been posted yet, but it's really, it's going to be on the heels of the Legally Blonde auditions. And all that information can be found at supersummertheater.org. Always want to give a shout out to our brothers over at LV Taps. They host a weekly podcast show. They're kind of like our brothers,
They're like the first hour of this show.
They really are. They have the opportunity
They
to
stay on
edit.
track the first, or do they just derail right off the? Yeah, you know what? Depends.
It depends.
Yeah.
It depends. But we love them and support them and think they do great work. So please tune in. The best thing to do is to go to Facebook and find them, LVTAPS, Love Taps. And I know they have their own website as well.
Yep, and download the Stitcher app, listen to them. They have their links to Amazon as well, so you know, they generate some money that way.
And then there's
Oh yeah. We can get away with a little dead air at midnight because you know.
And just as an Easter egg, well, let me know when we're closing out. I'm going to give the audience a little present.
Well, I was I was just going to say, do me a favor, and please spread the love. We are planning on talking about this on the air in the next episode of Curtain Call. But also go to Facebook and search for Feral Tale Theatricals. Feral, F-E-R-A-L-T-A-L-E, Feral Tale Theatricals. It's a new production company here in Las Vegas, and we're very, very excited about it, and lots of things to look forward to from that.
Can you elaborate a bit on that?
I'll
Because
elaborate.
It's been a little vague as
we're
to.
gonna get some other people in here. We're gonna be a little more elaborative.
Yeah.
At a later day. We'll say also that Quadranine is Brandon McClenahan's production company.
Absolutely. So go and like both of them so you can keep in touch.
Tell me about the name. I'm curious.
Quadranine? It comes from, it's actually a video game term. It's in Final Fantasy, the Final Fantasy series. The max damage that you can do in the game is 4 nines, 9999 damage. It became this kind of theme for a group of friends of mine growing up, and it was like the idea of doing everything to the max potential and maximizing your efficiency in
That's
all
awesome.
aspects. So.
Do you have any productions coming up with Quadranine?
Yes, we're producing Candidate Burton. It's an original from a New York playwright here at the Las Vegas Fringe Festival this year.
Kim Glover. Oh, the Fringe Festival's we are right around the corner from that.
It's coming. Yeah, Kim Glover's in it as well. Michael Drake, myself. Yeah.
With Brandon again and Michael Drake.
Yeah, directed by Amy Lee.
Oh, okay.
As soon as I turn the mic to you, you stop talking. That's funny.
No, it's embarrassing.
You guys are crazy. You crack me up. Well, and we do need to say, please like us on Facebook, Curtain Call with Erik Ball. Go to our YouTube page. You just, again, search for Curtain Call with Erik Ball, and you can subscribe to that so you can see archived footage of all our past.
Yeah, once you get past the M&M, links, because
M&M links.
And our amazing producer, Chris.
Oh, Chris Scott, who does an awful lot for us.
Yeah, who
really
puts up
kind
with
of
us until the wee hours of the morning.
Yeah, he trucks across town just so that we can do the show. We really appreciate it. We love Chris. Lots of love. And you're going to close this out, you said?
Yeah, just to let you know, thank you for tuning in. And for those of you that did, you're going to be rewarded. Go on Netflix tonight and watch FDR, American Badass. And you're welcome.
Well, there you go. Guys, have a great week. We'll see you next week with Curtain Call.
Hey there, this is Kate Weatherhead from the web series Submissions Only, and this is Curtain Call with Erik Ball.